The water fell into the basin. Jesus kneeled, and he washed the feet of the man who would betray him that very night. What the Greek text reveals about this gesture is often lost in translation, and it changes everything. John begins this scene with a seemingly simple phrase: Jesus knew that his hour had come. In Greek, the word is hora, but John doesn't use hora as we use hour, not as a clock, not as an agenda. In the Gospel of John, hora is the moment where everything converges. The reason he came, the point of no return. And what does Jesus do when he knows this moment has arrived? He takes off his outer garment, picks up a towel, wraps it around his waist, and kneels. But before reaching the floor of that room, the text says something else. It says Jesus loved his own to the end. In Greek, telos, to the end, to the extreme, to the absolute limit of what love can do before it breaks. Telos is not a measure of time. It is a measure of depth. It is love that goes where no one else would, and the gesture that follows is the proof. On the eve of Passover in Jerusalem, thousands of lambs were being prepared for sacrifice. The smell of blood rose from the temple courtyards. Families gathered. The ritual had been the same for centuries. Centuries earlier, in Egypt, God gave Moses a precise instruction. Each family should choose a blemish-free lamb, male, 1 year old. Keep it for 4 days. Then slaughter it at twilight. And with its blood, mark the doorposts and lintel. The blood was not decoration. It was a sign. When the angel of death passed by, it would see the blood and pass over. The Hebrew word is Pesach, Passover. God passes over. God spares. But notice a detail almost everyone misses. The blood was not inside the house. It was outside, on the door, visible, exposed. The sign of protection was public. And there was another instruction: eat standing, with loins girded, sandals on feet, staff in hand. Eat in haste, because liberation does not wait for those who are comfortable. Passover was a meal for people ready to depart. And it's precisely within this framework that Jesus does something no one expected. Back to that room in Jerusalem. Jesus is on his knees, towel around his waist, basin on the floor. And he begins to wash the disciples' feet, one by one. In first-century Palestine, washing someone's feet was the job of the lowest slave in the household. The Gentile slave, not even the Jewish slave, was obligated to this service. It was the lowest rung on the domestic hierarchy. The rabbis of the time taught that a disciple should do for his master everything a slave does for his Lord, except wash feet. This limit was there to preserve a minimum of human dignity. It was the line no one crossed. And Jesus, whom John has just said knew that the Father had put everything into his hands, takes the basin. The one who holds everything chooses to use his hands to wash road-weary feet. It comes to Peter's turn. and Peter reacts as any of us might. "Lord, are you washing my feet?" In Greek, the structure is emphatic. "Simou niptes tous podas?" You, to me, wash the feet? Every word carries astonishment. The order is deliberately inverted. Peter cannot process the scene. You do not understand now, but you will understand later. Later, when everything that is about to happen in the next few hours has happened, when the cross has made sense. Peter insists, "You will never wash my feet." And Jesus cuts him off. "If I do not wash you, you have no part with me." Part, in Greek, meros, portion, inheritance, share. Jesus is not talking about hygiene. He is talking about belonging. If you do not accept that I descend to where you are, you do not partake in what I am. Peter, being Peter, goes to the other extreme. "Then not just my feet, but my hands and head as well." And Jesus, with the patience of one who knows this man inside out, responds, "He who has bathed needs only to wash his feet." Here is the detail the translations hide. Jesus uses two different words for washing: luo, to bathe the whole body, and nipto, to wash a specific part. He who has gone through the full bath, who has been transformed within, needs only cleansing where the road has dirtied. Luo is conversion. Nipto is the daily walk. Jesus is saying, "You are already mine, but the road dirties, and I am here for the places where the road has dirtied." And then comes the phrase that divides the room. "You are clean, but not all of you." John notes, Jesus knew who would betray him. Judas was there, seated at that table, and Jesus kneeled before him, took his feet, washed, dried, with the same towel, with the same water, with the same care. He washed the feet of the one who would sell him. True faith leaves a mark. In Egypt, the lamb's blood was on the doorposts, outside, visible, exposed, a sign of protection for those inside. In the supper room, Jesus' water touches the feet, the lowest, dirtiest, most exposed part of the body. The blood protected from above, the water purifies from below. The Lamb died so death would pass over. Jesus kneels so no one is left behind. Doorposts, disciples' feet, blood, water, the same God, the same logic, descending to where no one else would. When Jesus finishes, he puts on his garment again, sits down, and asks a question. "Do you understand what I have done for you?" He doesn't explain before acting. He acts, then he asks, because some truths are only understood after being lived. "You call me teacher and Lord, and rightly so, for that is what I am." Notice, he does not deny the titles. He doesn't say, "Forget the hierarchy." He says, "I am all that, and even being all that, I kneeled. Now that I, your Lord and teacher, have washed your feet, you also should wash one another's feet." Psalm 116 asks, "What shall I return to the Lord for all His goodness to me?" And the answer is not a grand sacrifice. It's a cup lifted, a vow fulfilled, a life offered in the presence of the gathered people. Truly I am your servant, O Lord, but you have freed me from my chains. Those who have been freed serve by choice. The freedom of those who have been washed is the freedom to kneel for another. If there's someone in your life whose feet you wouldn't wash, someone who betrayed you, disappointed you, someone you avoid, Jesus washed that person's feet first. This is the question left behind. Who wouldn't you kneel before? I want to read that comment. The basin is still on the floor of that room. The towel is still damp. And Jesus' question still echoes. Do you understand what I have done for you? Maybe the most honest answer is, not yet. I'm still trying. True faith leaves a mark. Lord, teach us to descend. Teach us to pick up the towel when everything in us wants to pick up the sword. Give us the courage to wash the feet of those who don't deserve it, as you have washed ours. Amen. What happened after Jesus rose from that table, what came in the hours that followed, is the continuation of this story. And it doesn't end at the supper. If this word has brought light, pass it on to those who need it. And if you wish to continue on this journey, stay with us. This channel exists for that purpose.